What happens when a wealthy 27-year-old looks a small business owner square in the eye and smirks? Sue me. I'm rich. You can't even afford a lawyer? The answer unfolds in a courtroom like no other, because it takes Judge Frank Caprio doing something he's never done in 3 decades on the bench, arranging a civil attorney on the spot, filing a lawsuit in real time, and showing that true justice sometimes goes far beyond a simple criminal sentence. If you believe money shouldn't shield anyone from accountability, hit that subscribe button now, because you're about to witness the most extraordinary courtroom moment in Judge Caprio's legendary career. It's Friday, 2:45 p.m., Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio is wrapping up the week's docket when the bailiff announces the next case, the state of Rhode Island versus Derek Ashton. The courtroom doors swing open, and in strides a young man in his late 20s radiating entitlement. Derek Ashton, 27, is decked out in designer clothes, a watch worth more than most cars, an expression that clearly screams, "I'd rather be anywhere else." At his side walks Gerald Morris, a high-priced attorney from a prestigious firm, leather briefcase in hand, moving with the casual confidence of someone who believes money solves all problems. Judge Caprio looks up from his paperwork. "Mr. Ashton, good afternoon." Derek doesn't respond. He checks his phone one last time before his lawyer nudges him. With a sigh, Derek puts it away. Judge Caprio opens a file. "Mr. Derek Ashton, you are charged with vandalism, destruction of property, and criminal mischief. These charges stem from an incident on October 28th at Bella's Bakery. Do you understand the charges?" Derek shrugs. "I understand this is a waste of time my lawyer will handle." Gerald Morris winces at his client's tone. "Your Honor, my client understands the charges." Judge Caprio removes his glasses and fixes Derek with a direct gaze. "Mr. Ashton, I prefer to hear from you directly. Do you understand what you're charged with?" "Yeah, I get it," Derek mutters. "Some baker is mad about his storefront. Can we move this along?" Judge Caprio's expression tightens ever so slightly. "We'll move along at the appropriate pace. Now, let's hear the facts." He turns to the prosecutor, Assistant District Attorney Lisa Chun. "Counselor, please present the state's case." Lisa Chun rises. "Your Honor, on the evening of October 28th, around 11:30 p.m., security cameras captured Mr. Ashton spray painting obscene messages and images on exterior Bella's Bakery, a family-owned business on Federal Hill. Earlier that day, according to the owner, Mr. Ashton became angry when he was told the bakery was out of a particular pastry. He made threatening statements, left, and returned that night to vandalize the entire storefront." Derek interrupts. "That place had terrible service. They should be thanking me for the publicity." Judge Caprio's voice turns firm. "Mr. Ashton, you will remain silent unless I ask you to speak." Chun continues. "The damage is extensive, Your Honor. The owner, Mr. Antonio Raichi, estimates cleaning and repainting costs at approximately $4,500. The bakery was forced to close for 3 days, losing additional income. Is the owner available to testify?" Judge Caprio asks. "Yes, Your Honor." From a gallery rises a man in his 60s, dressed in simple work clothes, flowers still dusting his apron. His hands are calloused from decades of kneading dough. Nervously, he approaches the witness stand and is sworn in. "Mr. Raichi," Judge Caprio begins softly. "Thank you for being here. Tell the court about your bakery." Antonio Raichi's thick Italian accent fills the room. "Your Honor, I opened Bella's Bakery 28 years ago, named for my wife Bella, who passed 5 years ago from cancer. We built this business together. Now I run it with my daughter, Maria. We make bread, pastries, cakes. It's small, but it's our life." Judge Caprio nods. "And what happened on October 28th? Antonio takes a steadying breath. "That afternoon, Mr. Ashton came in. He asked for a farella. It's a special Italian pastry we make fresh every morning. By afternoon, it's gone. I told him sorry. We didn't have any left. Offered something else. He got very angry. He said, 'Do you know who I am? My father owns half the city. You should have saved one for me.' I explained, 'We cannot save pastries. First come, first served.' He said, This is the worst service I've ever had. You'll regret this." Antonio's hands tremble slightly. I thought maybe he was just upset. But that night, around midnight, I get a call from the police. Someone vandalized my bakery. I go there and, Your Honor, I see terrible things. Spray paint covering the whole front. Bad words, ugly pictures. Everything destroyed. What did you have to do? Judge Caprio asks. I had to close for 3 days. Lost income. Paid $4,500 to clean and repaint. But worse, this bakery is all I have left of Bella. We painted that front together when we opened, and someone destroyed it because I didn't have a pastry. Antonio wipes his eyes. I work 7 days a week, wake up at 3 a.m. to make bread. Hard, honest work, and this young man destroyed it like it was nothing. Judge Caprio's face softens with sympathy. After the vandalism, did you have any contact with Mr. Ashton? Yes, Your Honor. 2 days later, he came back. I thought maybe he'd apologize. But no, he walked in and said, I hope you learned your lesson about customer service. I said, you vandalized my bakery. He smiled and said, sue me. I'm rich. You can't afford lawyers. The courtroom gasps. Judge Caprio's face hardens. Mr. Ray Chi, you are certain those were his exact words? Yes, Your Honor. He said, sue me. I'm rich. You can't afford lawyers anyway. Then he laughed and walked out. Judge Caprio turned slowly to Derek. Mr. Ashton, stand up. Derek rises casually, unconcerned. Did you say those words to Mr. Ray Chi? Derek shrugs. I might have said something like that. I was just making a point that he was overreacting about some paint. You told a man whose business you destroyed that he couldn't afford to sue you. It's true, isn't it? He runs a bakery. I'm worth $12 million. He can't compete with my legal resources. Even seasoned court personnel are stunned by the casual cruelty. Judge Caprio's voice drops, calm but sharp. Mr. Ashton, you just admitted to committing a crime and taunting your victim about his inability to seek civil damages. Correct. Derek's attorney jumps. Your Honor, my client misspoke. Sit down, counselor. Your client spoke clearly. Judge Caprio fixes Derek with a steely gaze. You believe your wealth makes you untouchable. Derek crosses his arms. In reality, Your Honor, he could pursue criminal charges because the state provides prosecutors. Civil court? He'd need his own lawyer. He can't afford it. So yes, I'm untouchable in that sense. Judge Caprio leans back, silent for a long moment. The courtroom holds its breath. Mr. Ashton, you are correct about one thing. Mr. Ray Chi would need an attorney to pursue civil damages, and ordinarily, this court has no role in arranging that representation. Derek smirks, thinking he's won. But Judge Caprio's voice gains weight, carrying across the silent room. Your behavior is so egregious, your taunting so cruel, that I am about to do something I have never done in 30 years on this bench. He picks up his phone. Bailiff, is attorney Sarah Martinez from Rhode Island Legal Services still in the building? I saw her earlier. Derek's smirk fades. Your Honor, what are you? Be quiet, Mr. Ashton. You wanted Mr. Ray Chi to sue you. Let's make that happen. 3 minutes later, a woman in her 40s, dressed professionally, enters. Attorney Sarah Martinez approaches a bench, confused. Thank you for coming. Judge Caprio begins. I have an unusual request. Are you familiar with Rhode Island Legal Services pro bono program? Yes, Your Honor. We provide free legal assistance to low-income clients. Would Mr. Ray Chi qualify? Sarah looks at Antonio, his work clothes, his obvious financial hardship. Very likely, yes. Judge Caprio continues. I'd like you to consider taking his case, right now in this courtroom. The room goes utterly silent. Derek's face is pale. For the first time, he looks concerned. Sarah Martinez is visibly surprised. Judge Caprio presses on. Mr. Ashton here vandalized Mr. Reiche's business, causing $4,500 in damages, plus lost income. He returned to taunt Mr. Ray Chi, telling him, sue me. I'm rich. You can't afford lawyers anyway. He believes his wealth makes him immune from civil liability. Sarah Martinez's face hardens. He said that to the victim in front of witnesses. Mr. Ashton just admitted it in open court. Turning to Derek, her eyes flash professional disdain. Then she looks back at Antonio. Mr. Raichi, I'm Sarah Martinez, she says, her voice steady but kind. I help people who can't afford legal representation. Would you like me to file a civil lawsuit against Mr. Ashton on your behalf? Antonio blinks, overwhelmed. You would do this for me? Yes, sir. Free of charge. And based on what I've just heard, we have an excellent case. Judge Caprio nods. Attorney Martinez will take a 15-minute recess. During that time, please meet with Mr. Raichi and prepare the preliminary paperwork. I want to see a civil complaint filed before we conclude this criminal case. Derek's attorney leaps to his feet. Your Honor, this is completely inappropriate. You can't arrange a lawsuit from bench. Judge Caprio's gaze is firm. I'm not arranging it, counselor. I'm facilitating access to justice that your client explicitly claimed was impossible. There's a difference. Mr. Ashton taunted his victim about being too poor to sue. Well, now he's going to learn what happens when a judge ensures equal access to legal representation. He checks his watch. Court is in recess for 15 minutes. Attorney Martinez, please use the conference room. Mr. Raichi, please accompany her. The gavel comes down. During the recess, Sarah sits with Antonio, guiding him through the paperwork. When court reconvenes, she approaches the bench, documents in hand. Your Honor, she announces, I prepared a civil complaint on behalf of Mr. Antonio Raichi against Mr. Derek Ashton. We are seeking $4,500 in property damages, $3,000 in lost business income, and $25,000 in punitive damages for Mr. Ashton's malicious conduct and taunting of the victim. Judge Caprio reviews the papers carefully. This complaint is properly formatted and filed. Mr. Morris, your firm is hereby served. The complaint will be filed with the civil court clerk immediately following this hearing. The civil case unfolded over 6 months. Derek's attorneys immediately tried to settle for $10,000, but Sarah Martinez refused. At trial, the jury sided with Antonio, awarding $4,500 for damages, $3,000 for lost income, and $35,000 in punitive damages, above the original request, specifically citing Derek's cruel taunting of his victim. In total, Derek paid $40,500. Antonio used the money to upgrade Bella's Bakery and to establish a small scholarship fund for aspiring culinary students, the Bellarside Memorial Fund, honoring his late wife. When Derek was released from jail, he returned to the bakery, not to mock, but to apologize. With grace that Derek hadn't earned, Antonio accepted. You thought money made you untouchable, Antonio told him. But Judge Caprio showed you that justice is bigger than any bank account. Maybe now you learn. If you believe wealth shouldn't shield people from accountability, hit subscribe. If Judge Caprio's unprecedented action restored your faith in justice, hit like. Share this story if you believe access to justice shouldn't depend on your bank account. Remember Derek's words. Sue me. I'm rich. You can't afford lawyers anyway. Judge Caprio's response. Justice shouldn't depend on wealth. Let's make that happen. Justice